we go to the ACC. And, hey, if we're talking about offense, I mean, why not bring up North Carolina? North Carolina heads to Georgia Tech, down to Atlanta. The Yellow Jackets are an 11.5-point home underdog, total of 63.5, 7 p.m. Central Time, God's time zone, on the ACC network. Let's pull up the numbers. Full season, North Carolina by 15.6. My power rating has North Carolina by 15.27, somewhere around there. So we'll just say 15.3, whatever. So the fact that this is 11.5 is interesting, right? Because North Carolina lost last week. Georgia Tech hadn't been as good, but maybe Georgia Tech could give them a little bit of a fight because Georgia Tech did beat them last year. We all know about that. We saw that. Georgia Tech's offense can pass the ball. We've seen that, right? At number 54 in PPA per drive on offense. North Carolina, their defense has been a little bit suspect, right? So these are the full season numbers when you start to look at, well, everything, right? Not as big of an advantage in the 5 factors as you would think, which I found very interesting. Very interesting. But either way, let's switch it over. Over the last 4 weeks, we are now out to North Carolina as an 18.5-point favorite. Even though that passing defense has gotten worse, Georgia Tech turns out not as good on offense as they were to start the season. So that's a bit of an issue. I will go ahead and tell you. I'm going to go against my numbers here. I'm going to take Georgia Tech plus the 11.5 because Brent Key as an underdog is pretty good. I mean, these guys are really not bad. I know that there's all these numbers, but I think that loss for North Carolina was so incredibly deflating. And North Carolina, while they do have Georgia Tech this week, I'm about to look it up right now. Is this a look-ahead spot for... Is this a look-ahead spot for North Carolina? No, they've got Campbell next week. They got Duke after that. That might change my whole thinking here. What are we going to do? Georgia Tech has got North Carolina this week, Virginia next week. I'm gonna stick with my gut. My gut is Georgia Tech plus 11.5 here. So, give me Brent Key plus 11.5. Those numbers, I mean, they love North Carolina. They certainly love North Carolina. Good Lord. Thanks for listening to Winning Cures Everything. Make sure and follow me on Twitter at GaryWCE. If you want to toss in a question, you can email me, Gary at winningcureseverything.com. Make sure and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.